Okay, so I'm on page 56 and I want to get this completed. So last part, hopefully, of Drake Bully Buster, and I'm setting my timer. Okay, here we go. Okay. He looked at me. Duh. Good thinking, Flake. I picked up one of the longer sticks. This could be one of the wigwam's poles. Link shook his head. Too thick. I got these skinny sticks for that. If they're not skinny, it won't look right. For the next hour, I watched Link work. I tried to help, but I just got in the way. First, Link bent 7 or 8 skinny sticks to trying to make sure you can see the picture. Make a wigwam frame. He tied the sticks together with part of an old shoelace. Then he cut open a big brown bag with scissors. He ripped the brown paper with ragged edges. He painted little lines all over them. They looked like tree bark. Then he glued the paper onto the wigwam frame. I showed Ling one of the books I brought. He rubbed some black marker onto a paper towel. Then he rubbed that onto the brown paper to make the wigwam look old. Then he glued the whole thing in the box lid. Lid. I think the internet like jerked or something. Let me go back. Box lid. Then he spread some sand and moss around. He used big stones to look like rocks. He made a little fireplace outside the wigwam with a ring of pebbles. And he used some wood and crumpled foil and red marker to make the fire look real. He made trees and bushes out of pine needles. And then he made another smaller wigwam. And then he made a long house. It was amazing. It looked like a little village. It looked really good. Link put down the glue bottle and stepped back a few feet. I said, "It really looks great." Link shrugged. "It's okay." I put my things back in my book bag and pulled on my coat. "So you bring it to school tomorrow?" Link snorted. "You think I'm gonna let you carry it and trip and fall all over the place like a doofus?" "I'll bring it." I said, "Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow." Link flopped back onto his bed and picked up another comic book. "Yeah, so long, Flake." Then he said, "Hey, don't forget, Flake, you better do a good job giving that report." But by then, I was halfway down the hall. I tiptoed past his big sister's room and went downstairs. I opened the door, stuck my head out, and looked up. No Link, no water balloons. So I scooted across the steps and headed for home. I had some stuff I need to think about. I had seen a lot at Link's house. Like his big sister, what would it be like to have to live in the same house with that your whole life? And his mom, she seemed nice. And then there was Link. Sure, he water bombed me and he ignored me a lot and he called me a doofus, but he didn't seem like a super bully, at least not all the time. Once in a while, he was just, he was just like a kid. And he was absolutely a great model builder. I had looked at Link's face while he was thinking about the model. And while he was painting and gluing, when he forgot I was there, he had a different face from his bully face. Not mean, almost nice. But when Link remembered I was there, his face would switch back. So if there's no one to bully, a bully isn't a bully, right? I could make myself disappear. I couldn't make myself disappear, but I could make a super bully disappear. That was the question I still could not answer. Let me repeat that. I couldn't make myself disappear, but could I make a super bully disappear? That was the question. I still could not answer. Chapter 10. Busted Link. Link wasn't on the bus the next morning. His dad drove him to school with the project. Right after our math in the morning, Mrs. Brattle said, "Now we're going to look at the Thanksgiving projects. First, you should show what you made, and then tell why it's part of the first Thanksgiving story." Andrea and Laura went first. They made a poster to show the inside of a Mayflower. It looked like their parents had done most of the drawing, and they both talked too soft and giggled a lot. Then Ben and Carlos showed Plymouth Rock. It was where the Pilgrims had landed. The rock was made of paper mache, except they didn't even use enough paint. You could still see the comics and the headlines on the strips of newspaper. It was an okay project. And then Mrs. Brattle said, "Jake, Link, you're going to tell us something about the Native Americans." I said, "Our project is out in the hall under the coat rack." Link followed me out into the hall. There was a white plastic bag covering the project. The sand and the rocks made the box lid heavy. I picked up one end and Link got the other end. We started toward the door. Then Link stopped. His face looked pale and his lips looked blue. In a small voice, he said, "I can't do this. Reports, you know, talking to the whole class." He gulped. And then very softly, he said, "I can't." We were face to face, about 2 feet apart. I was looking at him, no super bully in sight, just a scared kid. And then I knew why Link had kept telling me that I had to give the project or give the report. Then I felt this rush of power. At least the great and fearsome Link completely at my mercy. At last, it was my turn to be the bulliest super bully of all. I could have said, "Oh, walk, it's Widow Winky, afraid of report." I could have said, "So, you made me feel terrible for a whole month, and now you want me to feel sorry for you? Well, too bad, tough guy." Or I could have said, "Hurry, let's get in the room so the whole class can see Mighty Link Baxter throw up all over the floor. Ha ha ha." But I didn't. I said, "It'll be okay. Really. All you have to do is stand there and point at the stuff when I talk about it. This is a great model. Everyone's going to think it's the best." Link swallowed hard and took a deep breath. "Okay, but you're going to do the report, right?" I nodded, and we carried the project into the room and up to the table by the chalkboard. I looked at a card I had made and said, "We made something to show how the Native Americans lived before the Pilgrims came." And Link pulled the bag off the model. Some kids in the back stood up so they could see it better. And Mrs. Brattle said, "Everyone should come up closer so you can see. This is really special. Careful, don't bump the table." The kids were blown away, and so was I, because after I left his house the day before, Link made some more stuff. And he made little bows and arrows, and he made some spears and some little baskets, and the baskets had little yellow beads in them, yellow like the color of corn. So I said, "This is what part of a village looked like. The wigwams and the long houses were made of poles covered with tree bark." I kept talking, and Link pointed at things. He didn't look like he was going to be sick anymore. When I was done telling them about everything, I said, "And I have to tell the truth. This whole thing, Link made it and planned it, and he did all the painting too. I helped a little, but really, Link made it." And the kids all clapped, and so did Mrs. Brattle. Link's face got red, but he smiled, and it wasn't a bully smile, it was a real smile. On the bus home that afternoon, Link sat next to me, but it was different. He didn't poke me or grab my book bag. He just sat there like a kid. He joked around with some other fourth graders. When we got off at our stop, I turned toward my house and he turned toward his. But before I turned the corner, he called out, "Hey!" I cringed. I couldn't help it. It sounded like Link's bully voice. He tried it over. No bully phase. He said, "What do you do? What did you do at school today? What you did at school today? Thanks." Then he looked all embarrassed. He shrugged and said, "See you later, Jake." And I said, "Yeah, see ya." Then he hit me. Then it hit him. Then it hit me. Link didn't call me Flake or Fake. He just called me Jake.